All right, who has the first question for our candidates? If you could please speak your name and...
Okay.
Hi, my name is Vivian Beltran. And first of all, I would like to thank everybody for... Here are the questions.
One question.
Here,
One
okay.
question.
One question. Since when did you register an affiliate to the Republican Party? So that goes for everybody, so the people will know that. Can I make another one? No. And what do the others feel about these statements I just mentioned?
Again, Brian Riley. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I turned 18 in 1992, and I believe I registered in 1992 as a Republican. I went and I checked exactly just to make sure when I filed for this position that I was still on record as a Republican, and yes, I was. So I have been a registered Republican for, oh geez, a lot of years now. That has not changed. I think it is important to know where the candidates stand on that, and if they have been going back and forth. Maybe other people don't think that's important, but because I have been a Republican for that long, I think that's a great question.
Lou comment. A lot of questions in there. Thank you. So in regards to candidate support, I have received support from a lot of people in this county because I have been in this county for a long time. And I'll tell you, this is one way to think about it. One, this Republican is very willing to spend Democratic money because there are a lot of Democrats in Washington, D.C. right now that are doing an awfully good job of spending our money. The First Amendment is very clear. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association. And when I'm running for a position in this county, whether someone agrees with me or not, which I've had some conversations where people agree with me, and I've also had some conversations where people don't. We are all neighbors in this county. And we may not have to agree with each other, but we live together. And that's just an immutable fact. The First Amendment, I am 100% in support of the Bill of Rights. There is zero quibbling in that regard. In regards to affiliation, it was 2011 when the state went to a closed primary for the Republicans. I've always voted Republican. In 2011, according to the Idaho, voteidaho.gov is when I registered. That is also when I came back from Iraq after time 2. I stand by being a good neighbor. I stand by working together. And we do need collaboration and cooperation from all of us, whether you are a hardcore right-winger or you are a moderate. We are all in Bonner County. Thank you.
Short answer to the question, I've been registered as a Republican for 39 years. And not only have I been registered as a Republican for 39 years, but I've voted Republican for 39 years. There seems to be a difference, especially in this county, that we have registered Republicans that are not voting Republican or conservative. And to answer, I don't know if it was a question, not something you were talking about. I didn't hear everything, but for those of you that don't know, you can go on to the Secretary of State website, and there's a sunshine. I don't know exactly what the link is to that, but you can look up all of the donors to the candidates. You can also click on the donors' names, and you can see where those donors have also donated their money to. So I would highly suggest learning who your candidates are. Thank you.
Hi, Rich Harder. When I moved to Bonner County in 2012, I registered as a constitutionalist, and that was because I was fed up with Democrat, Republican politics, left versus right. I turned 18 in 1989, and after seeing what the Republicans did to our country by shipping all of our jobs overseas, and seeing what the Democrats were doing, trying to pass abortion laws, gay marriage, putting gay people into to the military. I was fed up with all of them because they weren't representing us as people. They weren't honoring their obligation that they took to uphold the Constitution. And so in 2012, I registered as a constitutionalist. In 2014, I met Heather Scott, and she brought it to my attention that I couldn't have anything happen in Bonner County as a constitutionalist. Regardless of whether I thought that our constitutional values were more important than any single party, it didn't matter. So she convinced me to become a Republican. Right after that, I immediately ran for PC for Clark Fork area and became the Bonner County Central Republican Precinct Committeeman. I am currently still serving in that position today. So all of my votes are going to be Republican. All of my votes have been Republican. But first I'm going to look to God, and then I'm going to look to the Constitution. I'm not going to look at what a party's saying. I'm not going to look at what my elected officials are saying, because most of my elected officials are liars. Most of my elected officials will just throw crap out there and say, hey, this is what you should do, and yet when they vote, what do? They tell our children that they should be taught transgender stuff in schools. I'm not going to get, my time's almost up. So I'm going to look to God, I'm going to look to my Constitution, and then I'm going to make a decision on what direction I'm going to go. Thank you.
Dave Bowman for District 3. I've been a constitutional conservative and voted and been registered Republican all my adult life. There have been times coming from liberal Seattle where it's a little bit the opposite of here, where the whole slate is Democrats. Sometimes I have had to in the past hold my nose and vote for the least undesirable of them. That has happened more than once. But my principles, my guidance, Republican, constitutional, conservative. I stand by the Republican platform from top to bottom. The way I would govern is for all the people. So if I will listen to all the people, and my views are going to be based on principle. I'm sorry, my practices will be based on principle, not views. I think that sums it up. Thank you.
So I have always voted as a Republican, and I've been registered as a Republican since the closed primaries. I believe in the Republican Party, and I support the Republican platform. The other thing is as she continued on through her question, I guess, is that working together came up more than once. I think that's very important. I have a great relationship with a lot of different people from both sides, and I definitely don't agree with the politics of some of the folks that I work with, but it's part of the job. You have to be able to work with whoever, and you do the best you can with what their thoughts and policies are. Thank you.
Randy Flaherty, District 2. Since I was 18, I have been a registered Republican. I'll be 58 this year, so a very long time. I think that we all have to work together, no matter what party that you're on. Sorry.
Have to press the button. Nope. I think that we all need to work together. I want to be the voice of the people. The people have many, different affiliations, and I just think that it's super important for us to listen to what the people of the county, their needs and concerns, and then follow through with those. Thank you. District 2.
Asia Williams for District 2. So I'm a constitutional, liberty-minded, conservative Christian. So in other states that I've lived in, I've been registered only as Republican. In Idaho, I registered as unaffiliated. I registered as Republican when I was running for this race. And a particular group of people continue to talk on Facebook about this issue. So my actions in our county have all been from the platform of Republican. One of the things that I encourage us as Republicans to recognize is my platform of being a conservative individual that has reached many people have pulled people from the left to our side. That's a good thing. That's not a negative thing, and it's not a reflection of Asia Williams lowering my standard of what it means to be a conservative Christian who is focused on the Constitution. It's actually an example of how good I am at communicating our message to people who have been on the other side all of their lives. So as you continue to ask that question and look at businesses who have been only for liberals, that have invited me to speak at their location, that have allowed our campaign to sit in their area, the comment that you get back from the public is, wait, they've only allowed liberals there. They're allowing Asia. Maybe your group should come and hear me speak to hear the message of conservative, constitutional, liberty-minded Christian, because that's how I behave. But you don't accept that principle, because I am the endorsed candidate from the Republican Central Committee. I'm endorsed by the politically activated Christians. I'm endorsed by Heather Scott. Not because of what I say I will do, but what I have done in this community. So I will not be devalued by somebody who chooses to devalue my work in our community, because when you do that, you harm our goal, our common goal. Because if I can't witness to someone to come over to our side, we're going to lose. I have to be able to be a minister of not just my religion, not just my faith, but of the party that I represent.
She mentioned me. So
No. You're not a candidate.
She went directly to me, so I have the right. Please. She mentioned me. I was very clear. Please. I was very clear and said, please don't.
She asked the question, you answered it.
I said I was very clear and said, please don't take it personally, because you answered to me. You answered to me, and I thought it was important that the people will hear everything.
Ma'am, it's for the candidate.
No, but she mentioned, she went directly. She went directly.
I gave you a strong response to a question you continue to throw at me.
No, she thought I was insulting. I wasn't. That's why I said I have asked them. Yeah, but she went directly thinking that it was personal. It was not personal. Please, I just want people to know that it wasn't personal. I wanted the people to hear her side because she answered to me online. So it was no personal. I just wanted her to understand that it was not personal.
My name is Grant Dorman. I'm running for assessor. We can move on here. I was born and raised in a Christian conservative household that was Republican. We didn't do much politics in the household growing up, but when I was 19, I joined the Navy and I registered as a Republican in boot camp. And so I've been a registered Republican ever since, voted that way ever since. So that's a pretty direct answer to your question, I think. Also, I've been endorsed by the Republican Central Committee. What that means is that was 75% of the precinct committeemen had to approve me as a candidate in order to achieve that. So I look forward to your vote on May 17th for Bonner County Assessor.
Donna Gallo, running for Bonner County Assessor. I have been a registered Republican since I was 21 years old. In the state of California, you did have to affiliate, and I was living in California at that time. And I have been affiliated with the Republicans since that time, even before. When I was in school, we'd have, during election time, I would help campaign for the Republican candidates. As far as everyone working together, I certainly agree. My son had asked me, why are you getting into this political fray when it is so polarized? And I think it's that we cannot win them over the socialists, even though they call themselves progressives, that we can't win them over by excluding them. We have to use education and history to convince them that they are wrong.
My name is Jessie Webster. I have been a registered Republican in Bonner County since I moved back in 2010. Might have been early 2011. But I grew up in a very conservative household on Upper Pack River Road in the 80s, very conservative parents. I think it's important to bring our principles to the various offices that we are running for. I think that there's been some private property issues that have gone on in the assessor's office, and they need to be addressed, they need to be looked at. It's pretty clear in the assessor's manual, and it would be even more clear if there was more training provided to them in the assessor's office. So, Jessie Webster.
Clarissa Coster. I have been a registered and affiliated Republican since I very first registered back in 1998. I chose the Republican Party because it is the principles and the platform that I agree with, and that is what I will bring to the Treasurer's Office to serve all of you.
My entire life! My dad taught me there's no such thing as a free lunch. Okay? So, and ever since then, I've always worked for what I've got. I've never counted on anybody else to get it for me. And I think even now in this day and age, there's just some craziness going on in this country. And thank God we live here again. I'll just keep going back to Bonner County, right? People work. And again, I think the vast majority of the people here, and this is one of the reasons why we keep it so red, is because we've decided that nobody gets a free lunch. Somebody's got to pay for it. All right? So, my life.